Over 10 lakh students wait with bated breath as the CBSE is likely to announce their marking criteria for Class 12 today. The evaluation will be likely on pre-board exams and also based on the results of Class 10 and Class 11.
Will there be a grading system or will there be marks for all? Will Class 10 and 11 results be given maximum consideration? And what will happen to the practicals conducted? So many questions, but still no answers. Weeks after the Narendra Modi government cancelled the CBSE board exams for Class 12 students due to the pandemic, more than 10 lakh students are awaiting clarity on the assessment procedure. The CBSE is likely to end the suspense in the next 24 hours or so. But for now, the students find themselves in a state of limbo.
I am a good student, so I was looking forward for my boards. I was expecting above 93, 94, 95% above. So right now I'm kind of confused and I don't know how much marks I'll get.
I feel grade 10 marks, taking that into account, is a good idea because it's the closest to an authentic board exam that we've had.
Similar is the ordeal of the parents.
There is a lot of confusion now in the minds of parents because, the exams got cancelled at the last moment. The children have prepared. How the students would get the marks?
I feel that had they been told much earlier that these exams, they would be in a better position to have prepared for their competitive exams.
Sources tell India Today that the CBSE will evaluate students on the basis of their performances in previous exams. Sources say evaluation will be based on pre-board exams as well as Class 10th and 11th results. The board has also rejected reports of it following a no-marks criteria to evaluate students.
Pandemic has given this opportunity to think and to just redefine the evaluation process. So children are getting benefit, no doubt, because in class 10th, which CBSE has given us the criteria and the formulas, they are very good and they are in favor of a student.
The CBSE faces a tough task of ensuring a fast and fair assessment formula for the students. Its decision will also be looked up by various state boards that have also cancelled board exams. With Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai, Abhishek Mishra in Lucknow and Akshay Nath in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, we've been seeing several mass vaccination drives and camps being set up in apartments and in societies. Now, in a vaccination camp that was set up in an upscale Mumbai society, residents are questioning the authenticity of the vaccine they've been administered. 390 people got the vaccine. Not a single person had any side effect. Hospitals have denied providing vaccines to the housing society, and that's why residents are now suspecting that they were given fake COVID shots.
This is Mumbai's upscale Hiranandani Estate Society. On May 30th, 390 people living here were given Covishield shots inside the society premises. What happened next was baffling. None of the 390 people given the vaccine had any post-jab symptoms, like a mild fever or an ache in the hand. There were more surprises to come.
390 लोगों को वैक्सीनेशन दी गई थी उस दिन ऑन रिकॉर्ड और हमसे 1260 रुपया लिया गया है. हमें बोला गया था 1200 रुपया ये इसका वैक्सीनेशन का चार्ज है और 60 रुपीज़ GST है. वहाँ पे किसी को पिक्चर्स लेने नहीं दे रहे थे कि भाई आई एम वैक्सीनाइट, और तो वो जो वहाँ पे स्टाफ था वो भी बोल रहा था सेल्फी और हमारा भी फोटो आपको नहीं लेना है.
The people living in the high-end society grew more suspicious after nobody received the certificate issued by the government.
We are seeing after the day of vaccine, no one is having any side effects, no one is having any terms of, symptoms, nothing in that sorts. So in terms of that, then we started questioning, we started wondering what is going on. So after that, after inquiring, we got to know that no one was getting certificates also, which was supposed to be issued within the first 10-15 minutes of getting the vaccine.
After 10 days, they did get the certificates. But these had the names of different hospitals in Mumbai.
सर्टिफिकेट जो बाद में तो वो तो डिफरेंट नेस्को से आ रहे हैं, लाइफलाइन से आ रहे हैं, हमको आ रहे हैं नानावटी से आ रहे हैं,
नेस्को तो बीएमसी के अस्पताल।
वही जब नेस्को का सर्टिफिकेट आया तब यह सरप्राइज कि ये तो फ्री का और बीएमसी का है, ये कैसे मैनेज हो रहा है। इट मींस इट्स अ वेरी बिग गेम कि ये सब वैक्सीनेशन तो मैनेज हुआ है पर सर्टिफिकेट भी मैनेज हो रहा है।
Then came another twist in the story. The hospitals, which included the city's top ones, denied to have given any vaccine doses to be administered to Hiranandani Estate Society members. Anxiety and anger has gripped the members. They are not even sure what vaccine was given to them.
300 people have taken this vaccine, maybe more than that, 390 people have taken the vaccine. Okay, so we want to know first the authenticity कि क्या गया है हमारे body में. The first and foremost. Second, we need the government intervention on this.
सर्टिफिकेट जो आते हैं जनरली गवर्नमेंट के सर्टिफिकेट जो आते हैं वो 15-20 मिनट में या विद इन 1-2 आवर्स आ ही जाते हैं, एट द मोस्ट 24 आवर्स। बट हम लोग को किसी को भी कोई भी सर्टिफिकेट नहीं आया। जो भी सर्टिफिकेट्स आए किसी को 1 हफ्ते के बाद, किसी को उसके बाद।
Mumbai police has now launched a probe into what happened in one of Mumbai's premium housing societies.
The society members are alleging that this is a huge vaccination scam in this whole matter. Meanwhile, the Mumbai police is saying that they are going to verify the facts in this case first. They are going to question the officials from the different hospitals as well as some of the society members. If there are any irregularities, they are going to take a strict action. With camera person Prashant Bhatt, this is Saurav Akhtania in Mumbai for India Today.
The Delta variant of coronavirus has now mutated into Delta Plus. This is the variant which has pushed England to further extend its lockdown. The government here, however, says it's not of immediate concern. But what are experts really saying? Let's break that down for you.
The Delta variant first sequenced in India has mutated toward Delta Plus variant. But there is no immediate cause of concern as its occurrence is still low.
The virus is smarter, it's getting probably more infectious and probably also trying to develop immune escape property. As long as our vaccines work against these variants, we should be okay.
The Delta Plus variant is being reported in countries across the globe like the USA, Canada, United Kingdom, Russia, among others, pushing the UK into extending a lockdown once again. Here is what the Indian government says.
Yes, a new variant has been found. This is a variant of interest. This is not as yet classified as a variant of concern. लेकिन जो चेंज आई है, जिस तरह से आई है, उसके इफेक्ट को अब साइंटिफिक तरीके से वॉच करना चाहिए.
Though there is no indication yet of the severity of the disease, Delta Plus is said to be resistant to the monoclonal antibody cocktail treatment for COVID-19.
I think this is also a very important lesson which reminds us to collect more genomic sequencing data or samples, both within the country and outside the country. That's how you can fight the pandemic, by identifying the new and emerging variants as early as possible.
Majority of the cases were associated with travel from Nepal, Malaysia and Singapore. Speaking to India Today, Dr. Anurag Agarwal, the director of INSAGOG, the consortium of labs that are undertaking genome sequencing in India, has said that not every mutation leads to higher transmissibility or severity in infection, and that they are keeping track. Public Health England has said that Delta Plus variant has been identified in at least 6 genomes from India as of 7th of June. With Milan Sharma, Sneha Murdani in Delhi for India Today.
In a bid to garner support for Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, who's facing a massive rebellion from his own MLAs and ministers, the Chief Minister's Secretary, BJP MLA Renukacharya, has contacted around 50 MLAs and asked them to gather at his residence. But the disgruntled MLAs have declined Renukacharya's offer and made it clear that they will not come together in this show of strength. These MLAs have sought that their grievances first be heard and be resolved. To address their concerns, the state BJP has now formed a coordination committee to iron out all issues. This is a 15-member committee that will provide a platform to MLAs to raise their concerns. Amid the political turmoil, BJP Karnataka in charge Arun Singh will be arriving in Bengaluru for a 3-day visit to quell all of the dissent within the party. Let's move on to also the family war for power in the LJP. Chirag Paswan has expelled all 5 rebel MPs after losing his position of party chief. Chirag Paswan, isolated in his party by a coup that was led by his uncle, was removed as the Lok Jan Shakti party president in an emergency meeting of rebel MPs. Soon after the announcement, he retaliated by expelling Uncle Pashupati Kumar Paras and 4 other MPs who had revolted against him, making it a fight between 2 factions now of the LJP. The matter is now likely to reach the Election Commission as both factions have claimed to represent the party. Now, Suraj Bhan has been appointed as the LJP Executive President and also given the responsibility of holding elections for the post of the LJP National President. Chirag Paswan, meanwhile, is going to be holding a press conference today at 1 p.m.
चिराग पासवान जी 5 सांसद को निकाल देंगे या सस्पेंड करेंगे, वो संसदीय दल के नेता रहे ही नहीं, इसलिए वो हंसी मजाक वाली बात है, ये लड़कपन वाली बात है कि आपने 5 सांसद को पार्टी से निकाल दिया। हमारे पार्टी के संविधान में एक व्यक्ति एक पद, जो हमारा पार्टी का संविधान है, संविधान की कॉपी मेरे पास में है, उसमें है एक व्यक्ति एक पद, जो कि चिराग पासवान जी के पास में 3 पद। जो कार्य समिति की बैठक हुई तो उसमें सर्वसम्मति से तय हुआ कि एक व्यक्ति एक पद होना चाहिए। तो श्री चिराग पासवान जी जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं वो असंवैधानिक है दल के संविधान के हिसाब से।
And in one of the biggest headlines that came in yesterday from the courts, this is in the Delhi riot case. The High Court granted bail to Pinjra Tod activists Natasha Narwal, Devangana Kalita and also Jamia student Asif Iqbal Tanha. They're getting bail a year after they were charged with the stringent UAPA. The court in its verdict pulled up the government, claiming that this was an attempt to stifle democracy.
In its anxiety to suppress dissent in the mind of the state, the line between the constitutionally guaranteed right to protest and terrorist activities seems to be getting somewhat blurred. The scathing words from the Delhi High Court as it granted bail to activist Natasha Narwal in a 2020 Delhi riots case. The court then followed with this ominous declaration. If this mindset gains traction, it would be a sad day for democracy. After over a year in jail, the Delhi High Court on Tuesday granted bail to Pinjra Tod activist Natasha Narwal, Devangana Kalita and Jamia student Asif Iqbal Tanha. They were arrested in May last year under the stringent UAPA law, charged with premeditated conspiracy in the Delhi riots.
You can't keep charging everybody under terror laws, which has very, very drastic consequences. So even the court's accountability increases in such cases.
In May, Natasha Narwal was granted brief bail to cremate her father, Mahavir Narwal, who had passed away from COVID-19 during the second wave. She had surrendered soon after. The arrest of the 3 has become a rallying point of civil society anger against the jail instead of bail impulse. Putting that precise impulse under its hammer, the Delhi High Court observed, it is well settled that detention in custody pending completion of trial can cause great hardship to an accused, that it is improper for any court to refuse bail as a mark of disapproval of the past conduct or to refuse bail to a person yet to be convicted only to give him a taste of imprisonment as a lesson. Even more scathingly, in the Asif Iqbal Tanha judgment, the Delhi High Court observes, upon a closer scrutiny of the submissions made on behalf of the state, we find that the submissions are based upon inferences drawn by the prosecuting agency and not upon factual allegations.
Justice Mridul and Justice Bambani have actually said exactly what the law is, which we sometimes lose sight of.
Protest is not terrorism, and even a call for a chakka jam is not equivalent to terrorist activity. That is the gist of the judgment of the Delhi High Court granting bail to the 3 activists today. The court has also cautioned courts that just because the government has sanctioned prosecution under strict UAPA provisions does not mean that the courts must accept that blindly.
Finally, in a declaration of support for the arrested activists as well as student protesters in general, the High Court observed, having given our anxious consideration to this aspect of likelihood of threat and terror, we are of the view that the foundations of our nation stand on surer footing than to be likely to be shaken by a protest, however vicious, organized by a tribe of college students. Natasha Narwal has become the face of the state's crackdown on its perceived enemies. The implications of today's observations by the Delhi High Court could have far-reaching consequences. With Anisha Mathur and Nalini Sharma, Bureau Report, India Today.
With that report, we're slipping into a short